and welcome to The Roots. I'm digital reporter Laurel Stone, and this is the first segment in an all new exclusive CTV series talking about anything and everything garden related. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, an expert in all things gardening. Chevy, I'll let you tell them a little bit more about yourself.
I work at the local extension office here in Canfield. I work for Ohio State University. So my position is Ag and Natural Resource Educator.
Do you have people who come and say, I have a garden, it's not doing well, can you help me? Or are you more of the bigger industry?
We support both. We actually have a plant and pest clinic run by a Master Garden Volunteers, which runs twice a week. And people bring in all sorts of questions in terms of, please help me identify this insect, to my plants are not blooming, to, oh, I don't know what's happening to my tomato plants. So we do it all.
All right. Now, a lot of people talk about gardening in the summer, but we're in the fall, getting to the end of October here. We're starting to think about some frost, some snow. So, what are some things that people should do who want to be outside and garden with this colder weather?
Now, since we're in late fall, so the perfect thing for people to do right now is to plant spring bulbs. Now, spring bulbs will flower from the late winter to your early summer. So now would be a great time to get those in the ground before the ground freezes because they need time to establish and develop roots. So that's one thing people can do. Another thing that we have is garlic. Garlic is perfect to plant now. We also needed to establish roots before winter. And then by the time come July, you'll have your full ready to go garlic.
So, it's mostly bulbed plants. Anything smaller with seeds that we do now, or are we holding off on that?
With that, probably I'd look at perennials, which would be good because some of these plants, they require a stage of dormancy.
I still have some things in the ground. I have tomato plants that are slowly starting to die off. Is this something, do I want to pull them out now? Do I want to trim them? Do I want to wait for spring? What should I do with those?
The first thing I would ask is, did you have any insects or pests that affected your tomato plants?
No, they were healthy.
That is awesome. So I would compost those, put them in the composter if you have one. Normally, if your tomato plants had pests and diseases over the summer, we would say throw them in the trash because you don't want to compost them and have those pests and diseases over winter and then be back again next year. So that is what I'd say. You need to clean up your garden and get ready for the spring.
Now, what level of cleanup do we have? Because I'm in a bunch of gardening groups and you see some different advice. Some people say clear everything out to get ready for spring, rip it all out so it has time to recover. But other people say you want to leave it, let it stay, let it compost into your beds because it also serves as a home for bees and other important pollinators.
It depends on you. It depends on the individual. So I would say if you have like your purple cone flowers, you could leave the seed head out to provide food for the birds because they won't have any much to eat during the winter. But then for your garden beds, you can clear out all those debris out and then compost them. And then what you can do instead of leaving the soil bare, you can add some compost and then some mulch, straw mulch on top of them because mulch will help retain that soil moisture and then the compost will add the nutrients that were lost over the season, the growing season.
So, next, over the hibernation period of winter, why is it important to give your garden a break, to let those plants slumber for the winter?
When the ground freezes, everything goes dormant. Like time stops, right? So if you planted your garlic, it probably grew a little few roots and then it stops. So everything will resume again in spring. With that being said, fall is the perfect time to protect your plants during that dormant period. So right now, if you have trees, especially the arborvitae, you would give them a good fall soak and then put 2 to 4 inches of mulch around them. If you have tender plants, you would kind of have sacks to protect them, the burlap sacks. from the cold that they're going to endure. I'll give you an example with apple trees. So with apple trees, they've just given us our apples, and then they're going to go through a dormant period. Now, that dormant period is where you take advantage and we prune in the winter. By pruning in the winter, when they're dormant, we are actually pruning away, taking away the diseases. We prune the diseased, damaged, and broken branches so that when they come in the next spring, they are all, I don't want to say all better, but they have a greater chance of producing more apples, better apples, we get a better yield. So we take advantage of that when the plants, I should say, that rest.
So for me, I grow some herbs in my garden. Rosemary, thyme, things like that. Now, we stop trimming those when it starts to get cold, right? Because if we don't, won't it hurt the plants?
So are they in ground?
They are in grounds, yes.
Okay, and are you going to leave them out? What is your plan?
No. So I have in-ground garden beds. I have my rosemary planted there. Last year, honestly, I just threw a pot over the top of it for winter. And one of them, it got a little warm. I was excited. I trimmed some rosemary. And then it died. So I'm thinking I must have done something wrong.
With herbs, the important thing that you have to know is what type of herb do you have. Now, we have annual herbs. Annual herbs, they will grow and then flower, seed, and die in one growing season. So like basil. Basil only has one growing season. And then we have biennials, which will do that over 2 seasons. And then we have our perennials, which will do that like garlic. They'll keep on coming every season. They will flower, die, and then come back again. So it's always important to know. So with basil, I long moved mine indoors because it does not like anything below 55. It will die. I just wanted to keep it a little bit longer. I'm not trimming it, so it's kind of looking, But it depends on you. I would say protect, kind of mulch around them, and then we'll see next year.
Tell me a little bit now about what we're doing with the weeds we have.
Okay, now is the perfect time to control those weeds. You can pull them out and then add a layer of mulch so that they don't come back again. With mulch, it kind of suppresses weeds so that they don't go through. And then by the time the soil has warmed up next season, you don't have to start fighting with weeds. And weeds love to overwinter, and those seeds are crazy. I've heard pigweed seeds can live up in the soil for up to 40 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Now, if we're pulling out these weeds with our hands, can we put them in the compost pile, or would that risk having the seeds spread in some breezes?
I would not put them in the compost pile. I would probably put them in the trash.
In the trash bags?
Yes.
Got it. So the same things with diseased plants. If anything is sick, you cut it. Do you totally pull it out and start over down to the roots? If, say, my rose bush isn't doing too hot this year, parts of it are dying off, do I want to really give it a trim or just a little snip?
I would probably wait for winter to prune it back, because the purpose of pruning is to remove that disease on the plant itself and then see how it does the next season.
Some of my plants they're starting to get really big. My catnip is humongous. So can I divide that up? When's a good time to do that?
Fall is a great time to divide your perennials. Catnip is a perennial, so fall is actually a great time to divide it. Even any other perennials that you have, your hostas, this is a great time to divide your perennials. Some people prefer to wait till the spring, but the less work you have in spring, the better.
Now, tell me a little bit, because my mother, who's who I learned to garden from, she had just a giant saw and would hack them in half. Is that what we're doing, or do you have a more gentle approach?
To prune?
For your perennials, for separating them. Based on your reaction, I'm guessing a big saw is not the right method.
Let's be gentle.
So how would you do it instead to separate those perennials?
I would you go down to the roots and then dig them up and then pull them out gently and then transfer. It's kind of like transplanting. I would not come up with the soar, but but I would do it that way. I don't know. When it comes to gardening, you have to have the love of it. So everything I grow, I love to grow, and I call them my little babies. And you talk to your plants. So I can't imagine doing that with a chainsaw.
Well, it was a hand saw, not a chainsaw, so it's not quite as tough, but there was a little bit of violence. She had big hostas, and she would always separate her hostas, and some of the root systems would go too big, so she just...
I mean, did they live?
They did. Oh, they lived.
Plants are amazing.
But, so you never know. We're going gentle. Do you just kind of prise it apart with your fingers?
You can do that. If I had... Next time I'll bring one so I could kind of show you how to do it, but yes. Another thing I forgot to mention is fall is also the perfect time to get your soil test done, which we do at our extension office for $20. Because we need to know what nutrients are lacking for whatever you're planning to plant and have time to fertilize and amend your soil before that time.
All right. So what are we looking for in soil tests? It differs depending on your plants, right? Like tomatoes like certain things that's different from, cucumbers.
Yeah.
So what are we looking for?
So generally when we have our soil test, we're looking at the soil pH. Some plants prefer acidic, like your blueberries. But most gardens, about 6.8 is pH of 6.8. And then we're also looking at your phosphorus and your potassium. Those are the most important nutrients that we need, especially for your growth and for your root and flower formation. One thing we also look for is our CCEC, which is our cation exchange. That organic matter that we have in our soil, it should always be above 15 on the soil test. Otherwise, we tell people to add organic matter to their soil.
Is there anything else I haven't asked you that people have had questions about around this time?
Yes, I would say we've had a lot of questions on spotted lanternflies.
Yep, we've seen those.
People have been seeing them in their gardens, and their trees. Fall is the best time to get rid of those eggs. So normally with spotted lanternfly, I haven't seen it. Actually saw one adult on my porch last week. But normally the frost will kill them off, but they will leave behind their eggs. And the eggs they lay them in like layers and lines and then cover them with a mud brown covering. So this is the perfect time to grab your Ziploc bag with soapy water or rubbing alcohol. And then especially if you have Tree of Heaven, which they love, they lay their eggs there with anything surrounding, which is horizontal, and just scrape those eggs and destroy them, because that means you're killing 50 spotted lanternflies, which could have been born next season. And we're kind of trying to reduce that population.
Speaking of the next season, Chevy has a lot to share about things you can do now to prep for next spring. Tune in next time for those details. From our garden to yours, I'm digital reporter Laurel Stone.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Watson. Thanks for watching the WKBN 27 First News YouTube channel. If you want more video news, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the WKBN 27 First News app for breaking news alerts.